It was the faculty that behaved terribly, in particular, an assistant professor of interpersonal communication. Oh, the irony. Take a look at Professor Monica Cornejo and her reaction to Ann's presence.
No, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Why am I under arrest? Do not touch me. Get off of me. What's under what? Under what? For disorderly conduct. Don't. I am back with my do not touch me. I will get up. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Get your hands off.
Okay, that's just a sampling. This woman had been sitting there giving Ann the finger repeatedly. After about the sixth outburst, that's when the cops came and took her away. She had accused everyone in the room of being a racist because they were there to listen to Ann. And then when the cops came to arrest her, to get her out of there, she decided to try to set the limitations on whether they could lay hands on her, played the faculty card. And by the way, just a little background on her. She got her doctorate at UC Santa Barbara 2 years ago. Now, of course, she's a professor at Cornell, and she herself is a, quote, undocumented immigrant, first undocumented tenure-track faculty at Cornell. So to me, what stood out in this is the sense of entitlement. She's not even in this country legally. She got a job at an Ivy League university. She's put on the tenure track. Ann Coulter has a different point of view. And she thinks she can show up, give her the finger, call everyone there a racist in this country she's made her own. And then when the cops try to impose some law and order, guys, she decides to set the terms. Don't touch me. That's not for you to decide, madam. You're under arrest. Get up and get out. And we will touch you and we'll put the handcuffs on you. I'm seeing this more and more. When the leftists get arrested, Jim, they have a meltdown about how it's done. It has to be done on their terms.
I'm sorry, Megyn. I was just sending an email to INS giving them a hot tip. I think I may have found someone who's in the country illegally, and that they really, in fact, this person's probably hold office hours. This is not going to be somebody who's going to be difficult to track down.
Good point.
And detain. You put your finger on this, and by the way, I kind of have this. It's hard to shake the feeling that someone who believes that U.S. immigration laws do not apply to her because she's special, because she's better than everyone else. She doesn't have to. But that other rules would not apply. That, you can't expect her to be quiet while someone else is speaking. You can't expect her to not be disruptive because she's special. The rules, the laws, none of that applies to her because she's one of the chosen ones. By the way, also, I think this is something strange. Like, one of the arguments for the pro-free speech side is that repugnant speech generally repulses. If you genuinely believe that when Ann Coulter shows up and says immigration is a conspiracy to end America or something like that, which, by the way, I think I vehemently disagree, and I don't want to speak for Charlie. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's probably pretty darn pro-legal immigrant, being a legal immigrant himself. I think if you really believe somebody's viewpoint is odious and spectacularly wrong and inconsistent with the Constitution, inconsistent with our laws, inconsistent with our traditions in this country, then they will self-nullify, that they will that actually, in a way, by keeping them from being able to present their case, you're doing them a favor. Ironically, I'm thinking back to the two debates we had in 2020, where Trump decided to bulldoze over Biden, and with Chris Wallace moderating, and everybody said it went very badly because there was so much crosstalk back and forth. Biden got to speak more uninterrupted in the second debate, and that's what he said. He was going to get rid of oil and gas, and was totally like, in other words, if you let Biden talk, he's going to get himself in trouble. If you really think that Ann Coulter is that repugnant a person, you don't want to interrupt her. You want to give her the stage. You want to give her the opportunity to marginalize herself with what she's going to say. And I think it betrays an absolute lack of faith in their own arguments. I think it betrays an absolute, that, oh no, my students who I'm teaching on a regular basis, they are mind-numb drones who if they're allowed to listen to Ann Coulter, will suddenly turn into these terrible xenophobes who hate all immigrants and all that kind of stuff. So I think in a way, this is both constitutionally wrong, but also I think just kind of in a what makes for an effective argument, that the heckler's veto is actually a sign of weakness. It is a sign of doubt in the strength of your own arguments because you're afraid what will happen if other people get to hear this side that you oppose so vehemently.
Charlie, I can't help but remember this incident we covered on the show sometime within the last year, where there was this young, obviously woke woman who got pulled over for drunk driving by cops. I can't remember where, but we have the video. And the whole exchange was this extremely polite officer trying to do his duty and figure out whether she was drunk, and behind the wheel of an automobile. She had allegedly made a U-turn and was driving against the traffic in the wrong way, and trying to deal with this woman's obsessive list of her many conditions and the way she insisted on him referring to her and behaving toward her. We actually pulled it just because this now tenure track illegal immigrant professor at Cornell reminded me a lot of her. Look at this. I'll play it in part.
Like really bad social anxiety and stuff.
I get you.
This person.
Right back here, please. Miss Perry?
Well, I'm non-binary, so.
Okay. What do you go by?
It's Kai.
How can I refer to you tonight? Kai?
Kai.
Okay. Hey, I'm smelling alcohol.
I know.
How much have you consumed tonight?
Like probably 3 drink.
I need to run you through some tests right now. Stand facing me, please.
But I just want you to know that I also have very bad social anxiety.
You and me both.
Okay.
Okay? Any recent head trauma, traumatic brain injuries, anything I need to know about?
Mental, yes.
Focus on my finger, please.
I am. You're just like trying to intimidate me.
I don't know how I'm trying to do that. This is the test.
As you know, as an Indigenous person, and there's a bunch of going around, I'm sorry, but it's just for me to be on my toes.
I get you.
Can you remember that I told you that I'm non-binary?
Yeah, I'll try my hardest. I'll refer to you as Kai, right?
Yes.
Perfect. I need to know if you have any injuries or anything that would prevent you from doing a standard walk or turn tonight.
Mental health.
Any physical injuries?
Mental, yeah. Can you not call me ma'am, please?
I'm trying my hardest.
Okay, well,
Okay.
it means a lot to me.
I'm trying my
I don't
hardest.
feel like a man, so
Okay.
it's kind of triggering.
Right foot in front of your left. Nope. Go back.
I'm sorry, but the whole man thing just like...
I apologize. Let's see if we can move
Fine.
forward from it.
I
Yeah.
just want to tell you that I suffer from really bad anxiety, especially with generational trauma and PTSD around white people and cops. Like, it's just...
You're gonna get a
I
resistance check.
don't.
Don't resist.
I'm sorry, it's the same person in a different body, Charles.
Yeah, so a couple things. First, Jim was half joking by saying he was going to tell the INS. But shouldn't they go deport her? I've never understood this. It was the same with Jose Antonio Vargas when he was running around the country saying,
He came on my show.
I'm an illegal
many times.
immigrant. All right, well, we know where you are because you're speaking at Thursday night at the Y in Manhattan. Go back to the country you're allowed to be in. I mean, we either have a system or we don't. But that aside, you know what astonishes me about that video and the story you told is that the people who behave like this, they want to have it both ways. On the one hand, they set themselves up as implacable opponents of a system that they say they want to destroy, a system that is illegitimate, a system whose rules should not be held to apply to them. But at the same time, they invoke those rules and demand that they be upheld to a T. So you have the farcical spectacle, not so much in that video, but in other instances, where people say the United States is a racist, imperialist, colonialist nation whose constitution is illegitimate. It's founded on stolen land, etc., etc., etc. Also, invoking the First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment, and so on and so forth.
As we approach another critical election, many Americans are concerned. Recent studies reveal that an astonishing 56% of citizens report feelings of anxiety or dread about the upcoming election. But I want to tell you about AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. AMAC is more than just a senior organization. During these challenging times, they fight for common sense and for the U.S. to return to traditional American values. Visit amac.us/Megyn today to get an exclusive election year special, a 4-year AMAC membership for just $30. As an AMAC member, you not only enjoy money-saving benefits, but also the AMAC magazine, free Social Security and Medicare advice, a trusted voice in Washington, and a community of like-minded patriots. Take advantage of this election year special, 4 years for $30, and be part of the solution. Join now at amac.us/Megyn. That's amac.us/MEGYN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.